Hey, welcome to Friendships with Benefits. Today I'm with my friend Olga. And Olga, what are you going to teach me?
I am going to teach you how to have the courage to make a big difference in your life that involves travel.
So Olga just got back from traveling the world, which is really cool. So my first question would be, what got you there? What got you to make that decision that you had to do this?
Well, I was in a kind of a crappy place in my life. I was unhappy. I really needed to make a big difference, and I saw that some of the elements that were in my life were not really helping me get out of that unhappy cycle. And I knew I needed to do something radical and different that would get me out of my comfort zone.
Awesome.
To make the change for myself.
Cool. So once you realized you weren't really happy with what was going on in your life, what were the next steps for you? Did you know that travel was the answer, or were you looking for different things, or what was that for you?
There was a few elements that got me to have that light bulb spark. At the time last year, I had a lot of different moving parts going on in my life. I had gone through a breakup. I was looking for a place in the city after the breakup because we had lived together. And mostly I realized that hounding of the unhappiness was something that wasn't going to go away with just me moving and starting a new life back in the city. There was something that was bigger, that was a daily thought for me. And I had some money saved up at this point. I was 31. I just had a bunch of different things that kind of coincided and brought me to realize that I need to follow my dream of traveling.
Awesome. And then what would you say is the biggest challenge once you realized you want to travel? What were some things that got in the way for you?
Well, I definitely found that pulling the trigger, traveling alone as a female was scary. It was a scary thought, but mostly it was the planning portion. I'd say budgeting is something that I did not do, and I wish I went back and did it. But it's so cheap to travel in Southeast Asia that it wasn't that big of a concern because you can live off of $15 a day easily. And I went with a good amount of money. I was able to, it lasted me for quite a long time. But financially, that was probably one of the things that I wish I had looked into a little more. Just because I would have been able to last longer. But I learned a lot about budgeting through my travels. So now I can't even justify buying myself a pair of shoes anymore, which that is a full 180 from where I was
one of the
before
changes
I left. I was online shopping, all this stuff all the time, and it became more. I realized that I was doing those things because I was trying to fill the void. Pretty much. And now I can't justify any materialistic things versus spending my money on a plane ticket or an experience that will make me open my eyes to a little more.
You said talking to your mom was difficult. So how was that for you?
I had a really hard time breaking it to my mom because she's, there's obviously generational differences. And so she was obviously worried for me going and making the decision to travel as a single female and in a country she's never been to. She has no idea what's there, so she can't protect me. And it's completely 1,000,000% justified from her aspect, but I had to have that really difficult conversation with her, and I had to express to her my passion behind why I'm making this decision and why I really needed to do this for myself. Because my main goal was to get myself out of my comfort zone and do something completely different from anything I've ever done before for myself to find the best version of myself. That was really the goal.
Awesome. And now, for whoever's watching this and is thinking of making a change, or what could you say to them, or what advice would you give to them if someone's not feeling super happy where they are or anything like that? What would you say to them from this experience?
When I found that I was in a really funky, bad place, there is this courage inside of me that just kind of popped out of nowhere when I decided to kind of move into the direction of choosing travel versus staying in the city and staying in that vicious circle that I felt like I was in. I really looked at the overall big picture, and I realized that if you find the courage within yourself, you can really turn multiple negative things into a positive thing. You just have to really believe in yourself, and you have to believe the fact that things can be better for you, and I will never regret making this decision.
Awesome.
in my entire life.
Yeah, and I totally support you. And you're back now, and tell us you're back, and did everything fall into place for you when you're back?
You know, there's a lot of things. I always tell people, like, my travels, everything on Facebook was beautiful and fun. I mean, they're like, are you ever not in a pool or a beach? And
right.
You know, but it wasn't all unicorns and rainbows, and
sure.
It's interesting to find that, like, the perception that you get from Facebook is that everything's great, and that was never my intention. But I also didn't want to worry people either,
sure.
And it's part of my, you know, prideful sense where I was afraid to advertise that when things went wrong because of the worry factor.
Yep.
I can definitely say that coming back and learning everything that I did, and knowing that there was great times and then there was times where it wasn't all unicorns and rainbows, and it was horrifying, terrifying, but it's amazing to see how when you're by yourself and traveling in these remote locations and something bad goes wrong, how you instinctively and immediately jump into survival mode, and how far that takes you,
right.
mentally and physically.
Sure.
And when I came back, it was very overwhelming and scary, and it definitely, even to this day, I still have a little bit like minimal panic attacks.
Yeah.
Just because I've learned so much, and there's a lot of things that I look at so differently now. And I've learned that before I left, I was spreading myself too thin, and I wasn't really valuing quality versus quantity.
Right.
And that has completely changed for me.
Awesome.
I spend a lot of really good FaceTime one-on-one with friends, my family, and they all have seen the change that has happened in myself.
Awesome.
And it's a nice feeling.
Yeah, and it's so nice to have you back, and thank you so much for sharing and showing your vulnerability to everyone, and I'm sure it's really appreciated. So if you feel like traveling, if you feel like something's not going right, go for it, make a change, you can do it.
It's the best thing in the world.
It is the best thing in the world. And thanks for watching Friendships with Benefits. Peace.
Bye.